Yeah, the
right?
blonde
dad,
kid.
you know, yeah, remember the
Yeah,
dad?
okay.
that's coming back
Right?
to me.
The dad of the problem child. He was the main star in that show, and he was living with two girls. They were just roommates. There was no funny business. Like, yeah, he was like, like, what's up, every now and then, but it was respectable, it was chill. But at that time, like in like the mid 80s, it was weird that a dude would be living in a, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom with 2 other women, right? Like,
Yeah, it wasn't like frowned upon. It wasn't like really like that.
I don't
like
know.
a good thing, right?
I was
Maybe?
a little young.
Yeah.
Maybe it was pushing the narrative a little bit, right? Making it kind of like normalized. Right? Because it was funny because when it was the show, like the landlord, right, this old guy, Mr. Furley, he would go upstairs and he would trip out on them all the time. And they pretended that the basis of the show is that the only way for them to live like that is that the landlord would have to believe that Jack was what his name was gay. So he had no interest in these 2 girls.
Yeah.
That's why this thing could work. Like, you know what I mean? But meanwhile, Jack loves girls.
I play that card. I played that card before. I'm not gonna lie. Be the gay best friend, Hey, what's up? I look so cute on you, girl. Oh my god. What's up? You wanna get some lunch later?
Yeah, I've had to play that card too. Sometimes you got to fall on the sword.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, trying it out, yeah.
Yeah. But Jay, I'm super happy. I know we're super happy that you're joining us, man.
So excited to be here. Thank you.
Dude, thank you, brother. It's episode 6 for us. Episode 6 is a big deal because we've been putting in a lot of work in this thing. I know it's special to me. I know you feel special to you. Nick is always telling us about how how much this show means to him. So we're pretty pumped that you could be joining us today.
Very cool.
Everybody that's listening in, watching in. Thank you too. I'm pretty excited about the things that we're going to be talking about today. I'm specifically to have you here too, man, because I met you in the most interesting way.
We did. On Angeles Crest.
Up at the top, at the break turnout.
Yeah.
And I didn't go up there to meet you. I was going up there to shoot with the other brother.
He does film photography.
Oh yeah, he shoots ill, yeah.
So this was just pure coincidence that y'all met.
100%. And to be honest, I tip my hat to you because I didn't come up to you. You came up to me.
I saw the build. I'm like, man, who's this guy in the Supra? I was like, man, that thing's hard. And I saw a boy pull out the ladder. And he had the Toyota. He had a 4Runner.
Yes, he did.
Man, he put the ladder up there. I was like, I got to get some BTS of this. I hope it's okay, So I kind of just introduced it slowly.
And I respected that. I was like, damn.
So
he didn't just like start bye, 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 bye. He came up, introduced himself, and I was like, sick, dude. And you're up there a lot, right? The Angeles Crest Highway, fucking attract, no disrespect at all, but like, you get a lot of weird up there.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I loved your energy. I thought it was cool.
Thank you.
And then I get home, and a couple days go by, and I see the work. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn, that means a lot. Thank you.
It was ill, dude. It was ill. Like, I mean, what the brother shot on the film that day was sick too. But you stole the show, bro.
Dude, appreciate it.
I think you posted like this cut, like 3-sided like panorama.
Yeah, I love that shot so much.
It's because it captures it's
carousel.
It kind of captures the whole
Yeah,
scene.
you know how you can slide.
the whole turnout, right?
Yep.
You can slide and then you get that panorama.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he had the truck with the ladder.
Yeah.
Then he had like me talking to I think that gentleman's partner, and then he had my car.
I still gotta print that for you.
Dude,
that
I would
sick.
love it. It would be
I gotta get
so
it. Yeah.
ill, dude.
We
it
talked
would be
about
so
it.
ill.
Yeah. Put it right here up in the garage.
We were talking about
Yeah.
small fish bowls right earlier. That's one of them.
Yeah.
That's one of them. And I've been known, and I think that was what, a year?
A couple years, maybe close
over?
to 2 now. Yeah, time flies, man. Yeah.
Nuts. Nuts. And I know both of these gentlemen through very like similar coincidences and shit.
Okay.
So I thought that was like pretty fucking ill.
It's special, I think. I think when you meet somebody like that,
It's very natural. It
It's
just
very
happens.
Yeah. And then you come to find that you have so many similarities, and even if there are a lot of differences, like for example, you come from a music background,
Yep.
which is so cool. I love music. I write music, aspiring
right.
to do more music. Yeah. And you were talking about Dizzy and all that cool stuff you did. I'm like, man, no wonder I gravitated towards you, and yeah, so it was a really cool experience and
Forget
whimsical
about that
how we
part.
met,
Fucking
so.
trip. Even smaller world.
Yeah.
And then you're a go-getter, dude. Like I see your other content. I see you are out there like
Grinding it
hustling, creating different things. I mean, you're pushing. I see you pushing like your creative I want to use the right word, but like your paintbrush, you know what I mean? I see you changing your style up. I see you doing it, you know, and it's, the stuff that you're doing with the GR Corollas is pretty nutty up there, dude, at ACH.
Funny enough, I met Kevin through Sunday Rollers, which is like my kind of other page that I do. And so it's just like Sunday drives, and I just get some rollers with people, and that was the incentive, right, to get supercars to come out. Kevin came out to one of them, and he had his GR Corolla, the red one.
Okay.
And, you know, he was kind of shy because there was the supercars, and he's just kind of just chilling in the cut, you know. So I'm like, hey, what's up? Because it's my drive, so I'm introducing myself to everybody. And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. We hit it off. We were good friends. You know, I'm like, hey, I'd love to shoot your GR. Let's go shoot it. We went to Santa Monica, got some cool shots. And he's like, you want to go to Angeles Crest and drive it? I'm like, dude, yeah, sure. Okay. Fell in love with the car. Such a good car. So fun. And ever since then, like, I'm just like, man, I'm really thankful for this guy. You know, like, he appreciates the car, but he also appreciates the fact that it's meant to be shared, and it's meant to be like a community thing, right?
Right.
And that was so special to me. And so that's kind of what inspired the like GR drives and it wasn't just meant for Corollas. It was like GR 86, GR Supra. So I want to do like all Supra, all GR 86s, and then like all GRs in general. So
oh wow,
you know, and then eventually get the people the pool. You know, that's, you know, maybe you can help me with the Supra one.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean Arllan's got a great pull with the GR community too, man. Yeah, dude, we'd love to help in some capacity.
Sick. Yeah. And you got the Teggy. That's I
got the Integra.
Yeah, cool.
That's his also.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got the
Yeah, so I have that, and then the guys that work on a counter space, we actually have all three.
Okay.
So I have the Supra, we have an 86, and we have a Corolla.
Oh, damn, nice. So triple threat. Yeah.
I'll put them side by side.
You got the fleet ready to go.
Yep.
Yes.
Dig it.
No, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate the little download right now, so everybody kind of understands. Because that kind of shit is cool, and like I hope folks understand that this kind of shit's out there. If you're like in the community looking for it, it's definitely out there. There's cool folks out there, you know. One of the things about I Hate Small Talk and why we did this is like it's for this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like that we all hate small talk to an extent, and small talk can fucking feel mundane or forced. You know, it could feel like, why am I like, what are we doing? Why am I doing this? Right?
There's no purpose to it. Yeah.
Right.
We're not advancing somehow. Being happy and better humans out of it, right?
Right, or some of, and I feel like a lot of us also just like, cars connect us, right? And we just long for like either a deeper conversation, or some of us just want to talk about some shit, right? And so that's what this platform really is. It's like for folks to come on here. Sometimes it's just me and the homies, you know, we get on here and we just speak our minds about what we want, and sometimes we cover cool things that are important to us. I feel like for this, with it being episode 6, you know, for us still trucking along and doing this and getting more excited, you know, with each episode, and you being here, I kind of want to kick it off with a fun topic for us to kind of speak on. Luigi Mangione. You mentioned off camera, you know, that...
Didn't hear about it. I don't know who that is. Yeah.
So basically, like, Luigi is known for, he's on trial right now for murder. Like that's what he's going to court for. But who he murdered is like the huge topic.
The style in which he murdered is crazy.
He murdered this health insurance like CEO, and it caught like wildfire because the way that it happened, like he basically rolled up on a bike, like to this dude's hotel, waited for him to get out, and fired a suppressed handgun, like, you know, like shot him in the back of the head, and then dipped out and didn't get caught for a few days.
Dude, but wait, like even to slow crawl that, right? I'm talking about, it's like the opening movie of like a crazy
like a bicycle
movie. Yeah. And the thing is like this guy had to have known where he was staying.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he did his homework, and he rolled up, right? And he's waiting, and then like there's a CVT like camera that shows all this. And the guy gets up, you know what I mean? And he gets up and he walks out, and this guy rolls up behind him, and you see him dry, like behind him to his back. And it's like, And I think the guy went down, and it wasn't, because he made his own gun.
Yeah. Well, so he basically 3D printed in and like his own suppressor and stuff like that.
The bullet was metal.
Yeah. Bullet's metal. So like when they 3D print guns, and this is funny,
know about 3D printing guns.
This goes into like what I used to do before cars, which is a lot of firearm stuff. But like when they 3D print a gun, don't go after me, NSA and all that stuff.
Full disclosure.
They make just the frame of it, and you could buy all the other parts online. So like barrels, trigger mechanisms, stuff like that. But usually what you're making is the frame.
Yep.
And then everything else is like, you can literally buy like an order and it comes to your front door.
Spec it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Put some gold plate on it.
Yeah, and it's like Luigi Mangione when he made his gun, and this is like the firearm nerd in me. Like it actually malfunctioned on him because
Which is it kept going for a little bit.
like you can't just suppress a gun and expect it to shoot. There's like a whole bunch of mechanisms involved, like
And then
gas
they get hot
systems
too,
and
though,
stuff.
right?
Yep.
Like you only got so many in the
Yeah.
clip.
So like he fired, and then it jammed because it didn't actuate all the way. So he had to like clear the gun again and then shoot him again. So like that was that whole thing.
What?
But like
Right.
Crazy.
FBI was all over it. They were like, "Who is this guy? Is he trained? Like, what's his motive? Like, you know, the whole
Because
thing."
it's not just like some random person on
Yeah.
the street.
No,
this
and
is
dude,
like a
even when
big-
he did it,
big
right?
player.
Like the shit
Yeah.
jammed.
Yeah.
You can see on the cam, the guy turns around because he had probably one or two in the back.
Yeah.
Got to finish the job. The guy casually walked across the street, got
Yep.
on the bike, and he got one of those like city
like
bikes.
lime scooters and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Just
Took off.
basically.
Just-
They said he took off. He went through Central Park. Not a lot of cameras in Central
Yep.
Park. That's kind of smart. I'm not
He
saying I'm
dumped
not
the bike.
advocating.
So that's where they
I
would
dumped
think
the
Yeah.
bike,
he would be a professional, right? Because it seems so
but he's not.
like
He's
careless.
not. He was
right?
some random college kid.
Yeah,
And it's
with a well background.
so like the thing about it was the way that he got caught was that the front desk of the hotel girl.
Well, before that,
Yeah.
he was in a cab, right? And like, you know how they have a window in the cab?
Yep.
But he was wearing a mask, but you could see he's got his eyes. He's got
Yeah.
very distinct eyebrows and shit, right? Like the brother had like clean eyebrows, like he get them done tight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
They-
He went
found
to
the
the front.
salon. No.
Well, no, he went to a front. He went to a front desk, and he was trying to spit some Riz at the front desk girl, and he pulled his mask down.
Of course.
And
No,
then
for real.
that's how they got his face.
for the
Okay.
first time.
And then when he got caught was at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
So there was a McDonald's clerk that reported him, and then that whole thing. But the reason why it's so controversial is when he released his manifesto and why he did it. Like, he was basically, you know, there's a whole controversy on like, is the medical insurance like system like ethical? You
Yeah,
know, because like
it's crazy.
Because like it's like, you know, you go in and like, let's say you're super fucked up, but you can't afford it, and it's like it's the medical, like, you know, the medical industry, this and that is what's,
They won't take care of you.
yeah, they're not going to take
Yeah.
care of you.
Unless
So that's
you
why, that's the basic thesis
pay
of
for
why
it.
he did it.
But he
Yeah.
himself though had a gnarly back procedure, and I think from what I understand it was botched,
Yep.
and he had crazy pain. And this dude's young. He like half
Yeah.
my age, you know. So he's very upset about the fact that now he can't. And I understand that he was an athlete of some
Yeah, yeah.
type, right? Like a great swimmer or
Yep.
some shit.
So there's a motive there. He
A
couldn't
little
play
bit.
what he loved to do.
Right?
kind of
And
thing.
being from a well-to-do family and having access to stuff like this, and you're still not getting the type of treatment you want, you're like, ugh. But my thing about this, though, is like how you kind of recanted all that, right? Do you think he did it? I don't like. I'm on some conspiracy shit.
So it's
Because how
Yeah.
well
Like
this
he's
is all
a
put
scapegoat?
Yeah.
together, right? You know what I mean? Like,
it's one of two. It's one of two things to me. It's like me looking at it like there's a bunch of conspiracies in history. Like, you know, like they just released the JFK files and all this stuff, and like there's a whole bunch of other things that have been debunked and stuff that has been proven was right in history. The whole thing with Luigi Mangione to me is like the motive was there, and it's also just like you got to look at like the health insurance CEO guy. Like he wasn't that well protected.
not at all.
And people
Not a-
forget how easy it is with the right kind of motive and drive it is for you to really go out there and touch somebody.
that was very surprising to me. Somebody
Yeah.
worth that much, you know what I mean, and of his stature to be out there at a conference of that level
Yep.
with no detail.
That's why Megan Fox has a restraining order against me. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, she got a restraining order against who? And he said me, and I was like, what?
I mean, what do you think? Do you think like a college grad, fresh college grad, somebody like that has the capability?
As a man with Riz, I can see how you could pull your mask down and kind of, you know, be like, hey, what's up? But at the same time, then it's like, where was this McDonald's at? Like, was it down the street from where that happened?
Something like- it
Or
was
he getting
within-
lunch? Like,
I think he had covered quite a bit of ground.
Yeah, he was already pretty far off.
oh, so it was a random McDonald's.
Somebody turned him in for the reward.
and she never
Okay.
got it actually.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
That's messed up.
Well, she never got it because she called the police and not the hotline. So the fine print is that you do have to call the
it's
hotline.
fine print. Damn.
Yeah.
They would do that too.
But like, it was funny because social media took flame on this person because everyone's like, yeah, free, you know, Luigi Mangione, this and that, because like, it caught on like you know, everybody
Okay.
was like with him because they saw him as like a Robin Hood type.
A little bit. I mean,
know?
who hasn't
Yeah.
been fucked by the fucking, you know?
Yeah, by the
medical-
healthcare system.
Yeah.
So like, he had a lot of support, and like people are still to this day like free Luigi Mangione and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's just, to me, it's like with the whole thing, like, was it a conspiracy? Was it not? Honestly, I really did think that it was him that did it. It's not like it was some super high, like up official, like the Secretary of Defense or something like that.
Right.
Because those people are well protected. They got like Secret
True.
Service members and security details up the wat, like, you know, they're everywhere. But somebody like that, he was literally just walking out of his hotel like a normal person, and he got caught slipping. And
But see, that part fucks me up because you were talking about something off camera about this
Yeah.
too, about like, you know, guys who do things that do that, right?
yeah,
And you're the right person to ask this because you love firearms so much, right? I say that because you
Yeah.
use them responsibly.
Yeah.
Always responsibly. But, like the demeanor, right? Like I've seen folks that have fired a handgun for the first
Yeah.
time. I'm talking about handgun, like firing at a fucking cutout or a tin can, you know, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Body language can be ultra relaxed.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 2 a.m., 5 a.m., city. Are you gonna have the same body language as a gentleman because they look mad relaxed?
So the thing
even
about-
the walk across the street, right?
Yeah.
Think about it.
with that, to me, it's
Like
his,
demeanor?
how strong his motive was. And you'll hear it all the time. Like you'll listen to war memoirs of like guys who go in, you know, like who go into like war, like the service, or like we get caught in certain situations and have to do stuff like that. And it's like they don't know if they were ever up to like, you know, up to that standard or cut from that same cloth to be able to perform those actions.
Right.
But if the motive is strong enough, it's already been proven over time. Like human beings will do wild things.
But you think that it's still the reflexes will match that though if the passion is great enough? Like
Yes.
you'll be calm in that state. You're saying.
Yeah. So I mean, like he was relatively calm, and even what he performed, to a lot of people, it's like, oh, this is some like hitman stuff, you know, this and that. Like, yeah, he did his homework, this and that.
Right.
And it's like he did all these things, like, you know, he did all these things, and it was crazy that he escaped in Central Park and stuff. But he did it in an area with low visibility, where he knew there wasn't that many cameras around. There wasn't much of a police presence because he fired a suppressed handgun, so there wasn't a lot of noise pollution either.
Right.
And it's just,
Which is
in
crazy.
that moment, like there wasn't really a whole lot of people around to cause a commotion.
You're saying that's why he was chill.
That's why he was chill. That's the way that I see it. That's why he was chill. Like he knew his area and he knew the environment,
Right.
and everything went right for him during that moment besides the gun jamming. But he had all the time in the world to figure that shit out,
He
unrack
did.
the firearm, and then do it again.
And from like a psychological standpoint, I feel that when something is taken away from you that you love so deeply and you can't do it anymore, and this person that can essentially possibly help you go back to doing the thing that you love so much is like, no, I'm not, sorry, man, you can't, because you know, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know, you start to get in your head about that, I feel like, because you're so passionate about one thing, and now you have a different goal, because now that's standing in your way, or maybe that's what his thinking was, is like, this is standing in my way
Right.
of going back to doing whatever I was doing with sports, etc.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the calmness, is just the pondering day
got
in
that
and day
drive.
night. Yes, this is that flame that's just ignited in him that doesn't allow him to feel any remorse or fear or sadness for
Sure.
that
Or at least it
situation.
numbs the
Or
shit
MK
he's
Ultra,
feeling.
that could be the other thing if you guys know. We're not going to get into that today.
I mean, it's a hell of an animal, man.
Yeah.
I've got family and stuff like that. Like I'm used to seeing, like it's impacted me so much that I remember seeing it at a young age, like the constant hospital visits and nothing gets done. Like, and I've been in. I remember them as a young kid, bro. Like sitting in that room, waiting hours. I'm talking too. Like you ain't waiting 5-10 minutes. I'm talking about hours. You're just sitting there, and you're not sitting in an environment that's like cool for children to be in. You got people who need to be in ER probably, right? People cut up, people screaming, upset, sneezing. It's crazy for kids and a single mother, or a mother with their husband probably at work to be in, right? And so if you're doing that, and I remember like I had to do that with the fam, like almost like, bro, like 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like once a week type shit.
It's tough.
So I'm not saying, like, I'm also sympathetic to somebody in this thing lost their life. Not okay, right? But I'm trying to dissect what and how this happens, what someone, what, you know, like what happened? You know what I mean? Because like, it doesn't seem like those are the questions that are really being answered. It feels like we're going, I mean, I'll be interested in this trial, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'll be watching closely.
I mean, he's for sure going to get convicted. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
You think so?
In the eyes of the law, the emotional turmoil doesn't match what he did. It's not like the CEO was some like Adolf Hitler type dude, and like, you know, like you can't just go and enact street justice like that in the eyes of the law.
That is a little crazy.
It comes to the point too where it's like there's another proverb that almost goes into it, where it's like, if everybody takes an eye for an eye, eventually the whole world goes blind.
I think that's where people have a problem with it. You know what's funny is me and my lady are watching the OJ thing, and I'm young enough to have seen that thing live.
Yeah.
But you know what really helped OJ, bro? OJ was a hero.
Yep.
He was like an athlete, and he was a hero, and everybody loved him, and you couldn't say he did anything wrong. Right? As much as the facts
That
were
damn
fucking-
glove.
Dude.
It's that damn glove.
So Luigi is kind of a hero right now.
Yeah.
So could you put a jury together that would convict that young man? He, you know what I mean? From what I hear from the ladies, he kind of nice on the eyes.
Okay, so he does have Riz.
Yeah.
He's got that Riz, for sure.
You know what I mean? So can you get a jury together?
I mean, that's the thing. It's going to
be.
be up to, you know, the lawyers, you know, and stuff like that, and everybody's going to be representing him and the opposing, you know, and the opposing side on how the case is going to be built up.
Yeah.
It's just from my personal standpoint, it's one of those, you got to look at it on a bigger scale, like the way that I saw it. Like, yeah, like what he did, he had a strong motive, but at the end of the day, it's like that dude was the CEO. He probably doesn't even know that guy's name if you came up like, you know, like, hey, like you're the one who denied my insurance claim X amount of years ago.
Yeah.
They don't look at that shit. And it's like, how many people down the list do you have to go until your appetite for your revenge is satisfied?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Like, how far are you going to go?
Yeah.
But that's what literally causes some certain conflicts in the world.
That part.
That part. I think it also goes back to, like, I'm not trying to marry this thing to the television thing we were talking about, but like, guess why we can't be that soft?
Yeah.
Folks got to be able to sit down and start talking about shit, right? And be able to at least have like honest conversations and see things honestly. We don't mask it behind shit and pamper it up, because then nothing gets done.
Oh, yeah.
We just pretend like it's all good.
Yeah.
You know? Pushing on.
Intense conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, no,
thank you guys for putting me in the loop. Yeah. On today's news.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that one was kind of, you know, it's everywhere, and I wanted to, you know, we didn't touch on it, and I wanted to touch on it. It's, I saw something about it again, and I haven't seen enough of the facts. You obviously hadn't heard a whole lot about it. That kind of scares me a little bit, because I'm like, something like this should be everywhere, and it should be something that everybody is paying attention to, regardless of what the outcome is, or what, like, we just should be paying attention to this. I think it's something important. We all also like care about healthcare too.
Yep.
I think all of us would love to see some sort of a change in healthcare. So surprising a little bit that you haven't seen it, right? Not a big surprise with the way media is suppressed these days.
I mean,
And I'm on the
everything-
screen all the time, but it's because I'm just editing video.
No, good for you,
I'm
bro.
on the camera screen. You know, I try to stay away from media and all that
Yeah, no,
stuff.
good for you.
Even with
bro.
media in general, they
Unless
just,
it's Megan Fox. You know, stay with her.
like media in general though, like everything is on 15 minutes, then it's on to the next. Right now we're on the whole thing with the Pope.
Yeah. Well, are we though? I thought it was Kanye.
What's going on with the Pope now?
The Pope's dead.
Oh, he passed away. I saw a post about it. He had some very nice quotes, though. I saw somebody post about him, and he had some nice quotes.
Yeah, then Kanye was a whole other situation.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about the Ye thing, man.
Yeah, we can save that for a later time.
I'll just you go listen to the song if you care.
Oh, okay. Is that he came out with a new album? Is that what's going on? No.
The song is weird, bro.
Okay, it's one song, single. Release?
It's called Cousins, I think.
Yeah.
Cousins.
Yeah. Don't listen to it around people
Oh.
with your speakerphone on.
Okay.
The chorus or the bridge or the hook or whatever it is very weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the Pope, though. There was a quote that spoke to me about what he was, preaching about, and I think it was somewhere along the lines of like, war being senseless and to really make change in the world and to go the right path, we kind of have to come together and understand each other, even if we don't always agree on things. And you know, we're killing our planet, man. We're really like taking into that, and even with
damn cars
on a side, and that's what I was going to talk about, is that Matt Farah, little side quest with him. He's I think, I don't know what the thing is, but he's fighting, or he's like putting this legislation up about maybe having a walkable city, right? So there's less traffic and less emissions and things like that. And I think it's really interesting because he's a car guy, and he loves cars, and we love cars. We love driving them. There's a lot of emissions to those cars, but it's cool to see someone actively trying to fix that as well. You know, we're not going to stop driving cars anytime soon.
No,
so it's cool
never.
to see that we can try to make a change, even because I don't see this happening like overnight or even in the next 10 years. But for somebody at that age to be like, hey, you know, we can maybe make a change for the generations and the generations to come.
Yeah.
So it should be, that was a cool thing. So,
No, it is cool. Not to burst the bubble. I mean, it's just me, but I don't think it's good. I hate saying it, but
It's
yeah,
hard to do.
dude,
we're so embedded in the way we live here in California, or in
It's not even just
and
California.
there's just a
Just
general
in the
agenda
world.
ahead of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you can
yes.
see it with the way
Yes.
things are built. Like EVs were way ahead of their time, but they brought them here anyways, right? And they've got their problems. You got hybrids.
Like with cars and like the environment killing the planet, like it's not even just the cars thing. Like agricultural, like the amount of animals that like we breed for like produce, like that part also plays a
crazy,
whole
bro.
part in emissions too, in greenhouse gases.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
And it's like manufacturing of certain things that aren't even cars, all the factories, lithium mining, all this, it all plays
cars
a
is the
role.
least of our worries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's why it's like I mean I champion those people because I think it's tight that folks get up in the morning to do shit like that. You know, I think it's dope to have that purpose. But man, like I lose a lot of heart with the things like that just because it's it's a big you're David and that thing is big old Goliath. You know what I mean?
It's a mountain to climb right there.
Switching gears a little bit, I heard something the other day. I heard something the other day, and it was from Wiz Khalifa. I was trying to check out the new album, and Wiz was talking about that he feels the Earth is flat.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna be judging today, but bro, like, I don't think that thing is flat. I don't think.
No. It's funny because there was a whole fucking video of these flat earthers that tried to prove the theory that it was flat, where they drilled holes in a fence post.
Oh, hell no.
And one was at like, like that. Pause.
I was like, here we go.
We're going into it.
They drilled holes in a fence post and they set them at a certain distance apart. And the theory was, if the Earth is truly flat, the light will shine through and you'll see it on the other side. But if the Earth is curved, technically speaking, at that distance, there's a slight curvature to where you won't see the light.
Okay.
So he does it and he debunks himself because he shined the light through the fucking fence post and he couldn't see the fucking light. And then he rose the flashlight like 3 feet and then they could see it. So it's like, interesting. Like, it's not interesting. The Earth is curved, dumbass. Like,
Wiz was like, I think his argument was like he spends so much time like touring, right? So I get what he's saying by like you drive when you're. And I'm sure we all.
it's a
you
flat
travel
road.
a lot too,
Yeah.
right? It's a flat road.
Yeah, it goes up and down a little bit here and there.
Right.
There's hills.
There's hills, and he was kind of arguing that there really aren't hills; that it was mostly just like flat.
nah, man, you try walking up a hill in San Francisco with a 30-pound school backpack. That's why I got calves like an ox.
Yeah, and I think he was saying that he was trying to say though that no matter what we do, that we're always going straight.
Oh.
In a flat.
You can go backwards. You could go to the left.
And then
You could go to the right.
in his eyes, it would still be straight.
It'd still be
flat.
straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Yeah, maybe.
No.
but then where's the end to that?
Yeah. Did we just fall off the edge?
I mean, it's like, the Earth is curved. Like, it's proven. Like, you get in a high enough building, you'll physically see the curve over the horizon.
I have seen the horizon.
Yeah.
I feel like you can see, I don't know if it's a curvature, but I know, what you're saying.
Yeah, like, you'll see it. Like, back to the guns thing, there's literally a distance for long range precision shooting where you have to account for the curvature of the Earth.
Oh shit, no way, okay.
So like I think as you shoot
it's math
beyond
at
like
this point.
a mile and a
Right.
quarter or something like that, like you'll actually have to account for gravity and where it'll be relative to the floor because the Earth is actually curving down.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's
So,
like,
yeah,
it's
a different
physics. It's out
distance.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like actually proven.
So what do we think what makes people think it's just flat?
I think it's just like people want to believe in something and they just get super hyper fixated, and it's back to like conspiracy theories and this and that, and they're literally looking at maps from like the 1700s when they were all flat and everybody thought like the world just went from one way to the next.
And so is this flat Earth that he speaks of a circle or is it a square?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's
Because when you look at the moon, it's a circle, and is the moon flat because it changes? And
Yeah.
you could see the, from a cinematic perspective, the light's coming this way and there's no light here, so there's contrast, and you can see that there's contrast in the moon, so it's definitely round.
Yeah, I see the depth in that for sure. Like you were saying, I see the moon.
Look at the telescope, you can see the
Right,
craters
absolutely.
and everything. Yeah, so
Yeah, so what are these folks seeing that
I
we
don't
not?
think it's flat.
You know what I mean?
But I can't say unless I could fly and like go out there and be like, yo, it's round. And,
Yeah,
I can't really say. I'll if he believes in that, then
That's
cool.
a good argument. A lot of us have been in planes, and I feel like in a plane, you definitely get a good enough
We
angle.
know the Earth rotates.
Well,
Right.
I was
So
thinking
what
that.
is it like? Is it like a coin? It's-
But I was thinking that because I was like, okay, from a plane perspective, you're flying, and it doesn't look curved to me, honestly. I kind of see like land is you see like grids, and it like looks like grids, right? So maybe it is flat. Who knows? I don't know. What's your take on it?
No, I don't think it's flat,
you
bro.
think it's round?
I mean, it goes a little into like the space, like thing, exploration and shit. I know a lot of folks feel like we haven't been out there. Some folks feel like we have been.
It's staged.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe back then.
I think back then. I think back then a little bit probably.
But now you literally go outside right now, and Elon's sending another spaceship right up there. Yeah.
They had that,
Katy Perry and all that shit was just up in space.
right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they sent a bunch of women up there.
Oh, Katy
Yeah.
Perry is one of them? Yeah. She was a literal firework.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, you gonna get us in trouble. Katy Perry fans gonna be in the comment section lighting it up.
I love that song. That's the only reason. It was from inspiration. That's all.
No, I think it's round, bro. I think from what I've seen and the way that I've
Katy
learned about the Earth and this way that it functions and the way gravity works, round.
It's like every other planet is also round because there's a core to every planet, and gravity is pulled towards that core.
That's what I was
we can
gonna say.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. How like if it's flat, where's the
Yeah.
end of like the if you dig deep enough, there's a core. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
I don't think it's flat.
with the type of animal that we humans are in general, dude, just from like our inception, we find things. We look for shit. It's in our fucking DNA. You tell me nobody found the end of the Earth yet?
Yeah.
Nobody found it. Like we found all this other shit. Nobody found that.
We went to space before we found the edge of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude, we
Yeah,
going
it's
down the deep depths of water.
There's
ain't-
photos
And
of
our
the
eyes
Earth.
are round. Like everything that's organic in nature is mostly round. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm tripping a little bit, right? Because we're talking about this. So if it is flat, right, then is the bitch just massively fucking thick?
Yeah, it's just-
Because we go down
nice
in water,
cake.
we drill
Yeah.
down, and we fly up, right? Yeah,
it's a nice
like,
cake. It's like a tres leches cake.
Yeah, it sounds dumb as hell.
Damn, now I want tres leches cake.
Oh, dude, yeah, that sounds bomb.
You have a cake spot?
I don't know.
Next podcast, we're bringing a cake, putting a table right here.
Oh, we should. I feel like for the 10th, I like 10. I feel
Yeah.
like we should do it for
You
10.
got to go to bake-offs.
What is that?
Just cities have, like Malibu's having a bake-off right now. And so anybody can sign up. Dude, the stuff people bring to those things.
You telling me I could
So
eat other
good.
people's shit for free?
For free.
And just tell them if
And
it's
just-
ass or not?
Yeah.
What?
And most of it is like, it's insane. It's like little bits of raspberry.
I'm mad picky
gold
about
on
my
it.
cake, though. Like, don't give me no fucking boof.
No, it has to be, yeah.
Get that shit out of here. I'm serious. Like a nice, like,
What's
center,
your cake
bro.
spot?
You know what the funny thing is, man? I don't really have much of a sweet tooth, though.
Same.
Like, you know what I mean? I kind of
Same
like
here,
I'm a basic person when it comes to the sweets. That's why I'm like, don't fuck it up. But yeah, I like.
Because if I'm going to eat a lot of sugar, it better be like the best
100%.
thing I've ever eaten. Yeah.
But I'm a
I feel that.
Capricorn too, though. I also just stick to like everybody that knows me will tell you I have like habits. If I like something, I find it. I'm not gonna veer from it very far.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
a lot of these new exotic cakes that we be doing and shit, I'm not fucking with. Multi-layered and fucking, they bring them to life and stuff.
There's
I'm
a
not
reason
doing
it
it.
stays
I'll fuck
that
up
way.
the cheesecake though.
Hell yeah.
Cheesecake for me is
Cheesecake
like
Factory.
my number. Yeah, like cheesecake for me is my number one fucking cake.
So good.
Like I will always get a slice of cheesecake. Jack in the Box, where they sell the $1.29 cheesecake. Hell yeah.
You're like, I'm there.
Yep.
Say less.
Apple empanada from fucking Taco Bell.
Those are also bomb too.
yeah.
Those, I'm a sucker for those.
I'm Filipino, Jollibee, peach pies.
Okay.
Knows what's up.
Nice.
Going back to the Earth shit, Do you believe in like, because now, so like, okay, if we're talking about like our shit's square, right? Do we believe there's extraterrestrials? Like there are folks on square planets?
I mean, I'm an alien. Like, you know.
Do you believe there's life out there?
Hell yeah, easily.
Yes.
I mean, the government has already like said that aliens exist.
Yeah, and
that
it's just that talk about
come into contact and all this stuff.
Right.
And there are like certain things, like, I mean, a really famous one is Battle of Los Angeles, 1944, I think.
Whoa.
So the original movie, like, you know, we saw Battle LA, the movie where the aliens went and attacked. Well, in World War II, there was like this weird, like, lozenge-shaped aircraft that actually flew over Los Angeles,
Right.
over the coast.
Right.
And literally the military lit the fucking thing up. Anti-aircraft guns going off, cannons, all this shit. There was actually so much gunfire and so much flak flying out of the air. I think it killed like 8 people, like civilians, just because of shrapnel flying everywhere.
Right.
And after the whole thing, what happened? Everyone thought it was the Japanese or the Germans and stuff. No, they said it was a training exercise. But you wouldn't just throw a training exercise and literally
of that size,
of that like
Yeah.
dump that much munitions into the sky and accidentally kill 8 people from it. And then like the OSS, which was the CIA way back in the day, actually went out in boats and recovered whatever was there.
So they actually shot it down. Then.
They actually shot something down.
something down.
They hit something.
Something.
With all that shit, man.
I hope so. Yeah.
That's why aliens don't visit us, man. Every time they come here, we're shooting at them.
We're primitive, bro.
They're just having their Star Tour, you know. They're like, here we have the humans. They're like, oh my god.
But that shit's
Done.
crazy. I watch a lot of documentaries. I say that shit, especially mad conspiracy stuff. There was one that I had tripped on where they talk about they live amongst us.
There's that too, yeah.
But
Like
they live.
everyday functioning shit. You meet them, you interact with them, you don't even know.
I feel like that's
And
very
back.
true.
Yeah, they hang out in front of the 7-Eleven to ask you for money.
There's a story.
No, but seriously.
My uncle, he rest in peace. He told my mom when he was younger in Mexico. They were walking down. I don't know. It's a city where there's like a little town, you know, a couple buildings, and then you just walk, and it's just miles of nothing, right? And so they said they were walking to the next city over, and this beautiful blonde man just like wearing nothing. He's naked. Just goes up to them, and he's just like standing there, and he's like, "Can you guys help me?"
Whoa.
It's a very vague story. I can't remember what she said exactly, but this blonde man, they're like, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" You know, like, and they said they got him a taxi. Told the taxi guy like that he needed to go over there. They ended up seeing the taxi guy again because he was a friend, and they were like, "Hey, what happened with that guy? Where did you take him?" They're like, "Oh, he told me to drop him off in this random area in the middle of nowhere. He walked a couple feet, and I looked away, and then when I looked back, he was gone." And so, you know, my mom, like, she wouldn't just tell me some BS.
No, for sure.
So yeah, this was a true story in Mexico in like the 90s, I think. So.
Damn.
And then that can be what I've seen online because I've gone down that rabbit hole is this I forgot the name of the alien species, but they're just beautiful, blonde, and like really, really tall. And I mean, that sounds like people that live in Beverly Hills or somewhere out here. I don't know. It sounds like a human being to me, like a very
the
beautiful
theory
person.
too is if you look at like all of like ancient history, like all the crazy structures, the pyramids,
Right.
and all these things, like how did they even make that? Like, how did they do that? And how did it get so articulate and detailed? And everybody talks about beings from the sky.
Right.
In every history in the world.
They do.
So, like, the big theory is that, like, there were extraterrestrials that visited the Earth many, many, many years ago and showed people, like, basically technological advancements and things like that.
Let me put you on game, bro.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah.
they could live here, right? And that's how you do it in a
mean-
non-threatening manner. I don't know. I mean, I kind of believe in that shit.
No,
you
yeah.
know, with this
there's
much advancements
got to
that
be
we
something
have.
out there. We're not the only things in the universe. We know there's other planets that can inhabit life, and we can't be the only ones that have figured out how to travel the stars.
And that's
Well-
the biggest argument. It's like there's no way we're the only.
Well, this is where like this shit's gonna get crazy. This is where I was in a rabbit hole with that whole thing I was watching, right? Because we're talking about now where we can do this shit. We got Starlink and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like us sitting around and we're like, oh, we just discovered fire. Big dinosaur in that cut, right? How did we get from here, right, to that? Like aliens had to have been involved. right? Even from that far, like early on in like our evolution, like there had to be another element, right? I think that's what this documentary or this conspiracy theories was saying. I'm kind of buying into it because it sounds like we probably had some help. And
I mean, you really don't know. There's other theories where it's like, other than them being from outer space, it's also extra dimensional.
okay, talk to me.
Like this whole extra dimensional theory is that like we've already been around for a while, longer than we think we have, but in different other dimensions. And pretty much it's like, you know, we live on this 3-dimensional plane, and people talk about things, there's a 4th dimensional or 5th dimensional plane. And the truth is, we fall out to space. Where is the end of space? How vast is the universe
Facts.
really? And it's one of those things where they talk about it in a way where a lot of physicists have come together and they've tried to explain that we're essentially living on stacks of the same place, just in different dimensions.
Like an Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
He's
Interstellar.
floating around in that library looking
Yep.
at squares stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's kind of
pretty
crazy where like you look at it, it's like there's a bunch of things in history where it's like you have photographs of people, like the telephone thing was a huge thing.
Right.
Like there's photos of people's in the 30s and 20s that look like they're on a mobile phone.
What?
Like, and it makes no sense.
Seen those. Yeah.
And it's-
Like iPhone or something.
And it's like a lot of the photos have been debunked as like fakes, but there's a good amount of them that are legit photos that have been untampered.
How you faking photos like that back then, though?
Well, no, like people who make them today.
Oh, they're making them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, but like some of them are original prints from like the 20s or the 1910s, for example. But like this whole theory of like extra dimensional beings that have a higher level of understanding than what humans do.
Right.
Because you got to look at it in a way where it's like back then we used to call like stuff like math magic. And like, you know, if a girl knew that, like she was a witch, and then you burned her at the stake.
Right. No, you
Like-
make a fucking great point though, because even in like all these different things you were talking about too, right? Like how these different cultures and stuff highlight stuff like that from the sky. Like that's got to be a commonality in a lot of the shit
It's
with the
the s-
sciences and everything else, right?
It's like you brought up dinosaurs. The other theory is that like dragons, for example, every culture has a dragon.
Something that writes crazy like that,
That
right?
flies, is a fucking reptile, and breathes fire to some kind of extent. And there's the belief that it was probably some type of dinosaur or something like that, or some type of creature that lived eons ago that lived amongst humans that looked like a goddamn dragon. You look at a T-Rex, it looks like a dragon without wings.
Yeah.
So-
Or fucking like everyday miracles. Is it a miracle, or is something, you know, was something crazy in the room?
Yep.
Like I'm a big believer in energy.
Yep.
I can't explain where a lot of like I feel things sometimes. When I say I feel things, I don't mean like, you know, someone on my shoulder. You know, I just feel like a pull towards something. It could be like, oh, I gotta buy this car, or I want to do this, or I did something and it made me feel good, right? But that was the pull, you know. Or sometimes, bro, I'll be honest with you. I think like I'm gonna use your example. I'm not saying this is what happened, right? Like how this happened here was he was just driving normally. It wasn't like anything crazy. You hit a pothole,
Yeah.
right? Spun out. Something saved him. This could have been way crazier. I've been in situations where like that, I'm like, what just happened? Right? And I'm unscathed, like chilling.
I've had situations in my life where I should have been dead like more than a dozen times, but like I didn't die. Sometimes I came out like unscathed, and it was insane.
Yeah. So like, what is that? Like, you know, is that
Energy, bro. Energy.
for sure?
Your
And
guardian angel, you know.
do we believe in that?
There's definitely, personally, I do. There's some sort of gravitational force.
Higher beings
good
in a
energy,
sense
higher
and
beings,
whatnot.
yeah, interdimensional beings, like we were talking about the dimensions. There's definitely more than meets the eye, and it's not just the.
I mean, it's even with
Transformers.
stuff you look at like supernatural stuff
Yeah.
with
Oh,
like
that shit
ghosts and
fascinates
all
me.
this stuff. Like, to be honest, I believe in that shit because there's enough recorded evidence out there to suggest that there is something after this life.
Right.
And the
That
internet's
people
so
do
big.
move on.
Yeah.
That people do move on to somewhere else, and sometimes we come into contact with them.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I
It's like
believe
I've
that.
been to like Gettysburg, like where one of the biggest Civil War battles happens, and you feel that energy from that war there. And it just feels insane, like the bloodshed and the violence and all that. And it's one of the most haunted places in America.
Right.
There's tons of videos of people seeing like figures in trees and stuff like that, like old Civil War soldiers.
Right.
And you just feel certain places. Like back then when my parents were moving around and we got our first house, there were certain houses that you could feel like something was wrong.
I believe that, dude. I believe that.
And like,
I think that's people that haven't crossed over because they still have some unfinished business.
yeah, like they're not
type
at
of thing,
peace
right?
in a way. And it's kind of crazy because like going over to a story like relates to this. Like, so I had a cousin who lived over in Berryessa. It's like a community over in the Bay Area. And they moved into this house called, like, we called it Sierra because of Sierra Court.
Okay.
And then my aunt wouldn't go in the house. So we're Filipino and we're Catholic, and, you know, they blessed the house, but she wouldn't go in the house.
After you blessed it?
No, she wouldn't even step foot in it.
Okay.
And my mom asked her why, and she said it's because she knows the family that lived in the house before. They were all murdered in that house. Before that, my dad's coworker who lived in that house was also murdered.
Oh, shit.
So every family that's been in that house has been murdered in some kind of way. And like, it was funny because like, they told us to never tell our cousins about it, this and that, don't want to freak them out. You know? It was super funny because like, I go and help them move out of the house. Like, I think it was like 6 years ago. And then I was like, all right, cool, now you guys are out of this house, I got something to tell y'all. And like, we're all just chilling in the garage. Like, what? I was like, this bitch is haunted. And they look at each other and he's like, I fucking told you.
So they had some shit go down.
Oh yeah, no, like, dude, my other cousin, his name's Chris. He would tell me stories like this fool like smoked a J, and then he was chilling in the living room, and they were having a house party going on, and he like swears to God he saw somebody walk through the backyard sliding door into the living room, but he figured I'm high. Ain't shit going on.
This is some good stuff right here.
And they would hear stuff in the room, and then like his older brother had kids, and then they lived in that house, you know, him and the wife and stuff. And the wife woke up one morning to their firstborn crying at 3:30 in the morning. And it happened like consistently. But this one time when she was old enough to stand and kind of like interact, she was standing in her crib pointing at the corner of her room. I'm like getting goosebumps with this story.
That's like some paranormal activity
but
stuff.
Like,
no, man.
she was pointing at the corner of the room, and my aunt would swear to God that she saw like a fucking black figure crouching in the corner of the room.
Oh shit!
So she literally grabbed her daughter, ran to the room with her husband, and they just like told him what happened, and they're like, they just prayed the whole night.
Right.
And like she said, like it wasn't even like a black silhouette. Like it was just a dark mass that just absorbed light, but it was in the shape of a person like crouching.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me of something similar too, because like it's funny, I grew up unsure, like switching to aliens is just a weird energy, fucking whatever.
I mean, aliens, everything's supernatural. What if these things are aliens?
Or just walking spirits and stuff, right? Like, but I remember, so like, when the internet first came out, you know, the AOL dial-up shit, right? Like, so, oh my God, bro, fucking biggest pain in my ass. My folks would not let me use the internet, right? Rightfully so. So like, they kept that shit upstairs somewhere near like their bedroom. So like, my parents were like in the middle of like remodeling a home or some shit. I think they might have just gotten it done. So like, we had a lot of family come over because my mom likes to do, my mom's very religious. She's like into all that kind of stuff. Like most of her side of the family is. So like, she likes to get the place kind of like blessed after something like happens or even just to show appreciation. So we're doing one of those, right? And I'm like, I fucking want to go online. You know what I mean? And I got this house packed with family, bro. Like I'm talking Asian, Indian family, right? And so I go upstairs, and I had this whole thing because the stupid modem was so damn loud. I fucking threw like a blanket over it, right? Like a comforter, like those big ones you find, like you know. I'm talking about the ones you bring home from like the motherland, the big ones.
Giant fluffy blanket with like tigers on it and shit.
Absolutely, because I knew that thing was insulated, heavy.
Best fucking blanket for the winter. Period. I'm using that right now.
Best for dial-up modem too. Okay, so I threw it over the thing, and then so you could so I'm sitting there. I'm online now. And dude, it's like mad late into the morning, okay? Like pitch black too. I'm like, I'm not trying to like wake anybody up. And the layout is kind of like, the upstairs floor is central. So like you're not watching, you can hear what I'm describing, but like it's basically, I'm in the middle of the house on the upper floor plan, right? And there's a bedroom to the left and there's two bedrooms to the right. One of them is my parents' bedroom. This is a guest bedroom, it's a guest bedroom. I mean, there were our bedrooms growing up as kids, but then the parents fucking, you know, do what they do. So I'm awake, chilling, online. My uncle gets up, walks towards like the hallway area, and then he walks behind me, doesn't say anything. But it's mad late. I'm like, cool, you didn't say anything to me. I'm not gonna say anything to you. We're keeping it pushing. It's late, right? But he goes past like my mom and my dad's room. He cuts right and he goes to that other bedroom. My grandmother's sleeping in there, right? But again, I'm like, whatever, right? So I'm online, and this is all happening, but in the span of, it felt like 30 seconds, right? It could have been shorter, right? Because it's not a lot of walking. It's a small house. I'm like sitting there, and all of a sudden, like I'm feeling the same way you feel telling the story. Like I hear two people scream, and I'm not talking screaming like you know, I'm talking like
full on
blood curdling, crazy shit. Not even like you got scared at a birthday party. I'm talking about I haven't heard this before, right?
Yeah.
Bro, and the crazy thing was I heard my uncle first, and then I heard my grandmother. So I'm like, what the fuck would make my grandmother scream second, but my uncle scream first? Well, uncle a big dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? And so my dad comes rushing out. And I'm a little kid, you know. I mean, I'm not going in there. And my dad come rushing out. He run in there, and they flick the lights on. And I remember him telling me this stuff because I still didn't go over there, right?
Yeah.
And he said that he walked in and both of them were like this. Her hand's here, his hand's there.
Yeah.
And then they both snapped out of it like they had no idea what the fuck was going on.
So it was like some sleepwalking stuff.
That's what my uncle said. I'm like, no, bro. Like, she also got up. It wasn't like it was like that. You know, this other person
like right in
got
front of
up.
So like possession type shit.
Right, but my mom just got done doing this big, crazy spiritual blessing. So now the whole house is thinking, oh, hell no, spirits in this motherfucker.
Fuck. That's
and I'm
crazy.
like, maybe.
Man, we gotta have a whole episode.
I'm gonna go back to my computer.
Bro, I went to sleep.
We need a whole episode where it's outside the shop at night with a fire in the middle. We're just gonna talk about different ghost stories.
Oh, I'm down. I believe in that shit.
I got a whole bunch of those that we could just go on a tangent on. Like, dude, I grew up with some weird shit.
I bet, bro. I believe in it. I got family that's like super religious, like mostly for spiritual shit. Like my mom has trained me so much to believe that, like, you know how like you were talking about like whatever, like you can go somewhere and like be in a house and there's dead people. My mom like slammed it and she like hit it over the head with it. That if you go somewhere, you could bring a spirit back with you.
Yep.
Like you could bring it home with you. Like, and now it's like, damn, why would you say it?
There was have you guys seen Ghost Adventures? This guy named Zach Bagans on the Travel Channel.
I try to stay away from all that.
So you've seen that though, right?
Yeah.
He's got
not like
glasses
religiously,
on
but I
and
know
stuff,
of it.
But like, so he did a movie called Demon House. It was over in Detroit, I believe.
Okay.
Like Illinois, somewhere over there. But the whole thing was premised around this house, and it was called the Demon House because so much paranormal activity happened there. Where even like police officers, CPS workers, like all this stuff would attest to it too. Like apparently one of the cops saw a kid be levitated off the wall during like a prayer session. And then even on Google Maps, like when the house was still there on Google Maps, you could see a figure in the window.
Oh shit, hell no.
And then so they did the whole film. Zach Bagans never used to wear glasses. After the film, he had to wear prism glasses. What prism glasses do is they help correct your vision after it's been damaged. Because towards the end of the film, there's like a part where he's like being attacked by something. But the crazy part about this film, in the first part of the film, there's a disclaimer. It says, if you watch this film, you are inviting spirits into your home.
It's like the Ring movie, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like if you're gonna go down that path, like you guys are gonna go set up the campfire. Just be careful. Make sure you bless yourself before you go back home. Because when you go, you know, it's just like with anything. It's back to energy.
Yeah.
It's like you want to be the best race car driver, you're gonna end up running into some people that like cars.
Yeah.
If you want to be a ghost hunter, you're gonna run into some spirits. And one of those spirits is not gonna be as easy as the other one, and it might cost you your life.
Continuing from that though, like the movie, the crazy part is that people actually reported activity in their lives after watching that film. But I mean, like from that whole thing, like going back on the whole like spirits inviting thing, like personally, if a ghost like takes me out, that's fair game. Because, like, I
went into it.
Hey, no, because I'm gonna be a spirit and I'm gonna whoop its ass when I'm a spirit.
Let's go.
That's the way that I see it.
To get back.
All right, cool. Take me out. Now we on the same playing field. I got ghost powers too now.
Didn't see this one coming, huh?
All right, I got another one since we on that
Yeah.
shit.
I like that.
I'll make this one fast. Pause. I was overseas. So like, all
shit.
my buddies went to college. I went the other route, and I wanted to travel. I didn't go to college, you know. I wanted real life shit, and so I decided to go back to my mom, where my mom and my dad from, because when I went to India, I was a really, really young kid. I'm talking like, you know, I wasn't gonna remember it. So I went back in my 20s. I was like 20, maybe 19 when I was traveling. I went there. I went Dolo, and I landed in New Delhi, drove up to Chandigarh, which is about 4.5 miles north of New Delhi. So I found a cool flight up there. I really was like, and I fucking rented a spot. Renting a spot ended up turning into me staying out there for like almost 3 years on and off for a minute. But the spot that I got, right? The way like a lot of India works is that like folks like have big families out there, and then the kids either go away, they have their own families, and then these folks are left with like semi kind of like big homes,
Yeah.
right?
Reminds me of, like, the Philippines and
rich.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the way they build.
They
it.
just have a
Weird.
plot of land and then they build a giant house on it.
That's it.
We gotta keep 8 kids in here. There's gotta be room.
And then,
they
all of
gotta
a sudden,
go.
there's nothing.
Yeah, they gotta leave the nest.
That's what this place was like, but it was kind of like a nice area. I had a park in front of it, so I thought it was cool. It was the sweetest like old lady and like this woman who was like in her middle age, right? And they had a kid. So I was like, great, you know. And there was no husband though. Whatever, I didn't think anything of it. They lived at the bottom floor. I got to go to the top. There was an outside access thing. You can get to the top floor, right? And bada bing, bada boom. Lived there for a minute. My brother was like, yo, I'm gonna come out there, you know, I'm gonna stay with you, the younger brother. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, pull up. Because I was staying out there long enough, I fucking got a dog. You know what I mean? Let me get myself a German Shepherd. Got a German Shepherd. I had a person that like I met from Nepal, and he started like living in with me because he could cook. I can't cook. So I was like, bet, bro, I'll pay you better than market. Just cook for me, bro. So he would come over every day, cook. Sometimes he would crash because I get fucked up. We would drink. I treated him like a homie, you know what I mean? One night, we're chilling there, and I'm not like awake, but my brother's awake, and he wakes up to my dog barking, and like the front door, bro, is kind of like that front door right there, right? And just imagine that cardboard cutout being just right above it, and then it's a window.
Yeah.
And so that's the door to my private access to how I get upstairs to my space. Now you can continue to go upstairs just like you got up there.
Yeah.
You get to the roof, and everybody in most parts in Asia have the water on the roof.
Yep.
The tanks are on the roof because you can heat them. You draw it from the ground,
Yep.
right? So the water tank is on the roof. That's why you have that access up there. And then the stairs go down. So my dog is barking upward at the fucking piece of glass. I don't get up because I'm like drunk and passed out. My brother gets up, and the dog won't come back, and my brother sees what my dog sees. And my brother claimed, I didn't see it, that it was an older guy with his head busted open, all right? And I don't know any other information besides this shit. And so then
Like at the window or at the door?
out the door piece, that one piece up there was like, it's almost like a...
How tall was this motherfucker?
Well, because the stairs go upstairs.
Oh, okay.
So, you know
It
what
was
I mean?
like that.
So he's kind of
Angle.
like in the
Yeah,
stairs.
yeah.
I should have clarified. Yes,
Yeah,
so he's
yeah.
still standing in the way, and
Yeah,
you can see him.
He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Busted
he's
head.
busted head, right? Like gushing,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, what the hell? My brother's telling me this. And I'm like, bro, like you fucked up. But I also believe him because you know what I mean? Because I believe in this shit. And so anyways, we told the guy who makes the food with us and stuff, the homie, right?
Yeah.
Carry on. Me and my brother dip. I can't remember now if we went, because sometimes we would travel within India too and go different places. So I can't remember if we did that, if we came home for a little bit, or did a stretch, but it came back. But now my homie who was cooking for us hits me. He's like, bro, I seen the same shit. He's like, your dog was going nuts. Got up, seen the same shit. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? So when I came back, we were talking about it, and he ends up finding out. The lady that lived downstairs, because you remember how I said that I walked in?
There was no husband.
No husband.
Yeah. I knew it was leading
the
towards that.
husband, bro. Like the woman and her man lived upstairs,
Yeah.
right? While like her parents lived downstairs,
Yeah.
and he fell in the shower, busted his head. Bro, and the crazy thing is that because I've looked into this, I don't very rarely see sightings.
Yeah.
My mom's seen them, my dad's seen them, my brother's seen them. I've never seen them. Like I have like encounters with energy, but physically with things,
Never
no.
seen
Yeah.
it.
Not even like a shadow passing.
Yeah.
And I believe in it.
It's true. And then you can see it from a different perspective, where it's like, have you seen that show Ghosts or something? It's kind of like a funny show where this girl inherits a house, her grandma dies, and it's like this giant mansion.
Oh yeah.
And then, it's funny, like the guy has an arrow through his head, and like the lady's been there since like the olden times or whatever. But I think that's another. It doesn't necessarily have to be scary. We're usually scared about things that we don't know, right?
Right.
A lot of times, sometimes we're like the baby situation. We're looking at some dark figure in the corner. You're like, whoa, that's kind of scary.
That's not a ghost. That's a demon, dog.
There you go.
Or I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because no one was harmed in any of these things with these side. And my grandmother's had
just wanted to
crazy
party.
ones.
He's like, you guys are cooking over here, making some vodka drinks. Like, yo, I want to be part of that. Oh shit, I'm dead. I can't. Damn.
I won't say who in my family because just a guy, let's say we all end up being fucking multimillionaires and this thing blows up and people are like, I just saw 6 and they're like, fuck, they said that. But I had a family member in my family who for a while told me that like, he didn't know who the woman was, but she would visit him every night for the longest time. I'm getting goosebumps right now telling it, bro. Like,
God damn.
It was crazy. And he said it was just the weird, like just standing there.
Yeah.
You're trying to sleep, you know what I mean? So just like standing there and you're like, what? And this crazy thing is when I would go over this place, I wouldn't feel that energy. You know what I mean? You're just crashing at the place and you're like,
when I was 6 years old, like the one thing that will forever like freak me out about the house that I grew up in was that, so like, I shared a room with like my siblings and stuff like that and a bunch of other people, and like we had like these bunk beds, and under the bunk beds is like, the cupboards for drawers, but they were like free rolling drawers.
okay.
For whatever reason, I was trying to grab something underneath, but when I reached in, I felt something grab my fucking hand and pull me in. And I was like crying my eyes out as a 6-year-old because I was so goddamn scared.
Yeah.
And like my mom comes in the room and she's like, "What's going on?" And then like let go. And I like literally flew back like 3 feet just because I had like tension like pulling me in.
Fuck.
And I remember like the day after, like I went in there with a flashlight. Say, did I get it caught in like a spring or like?
You checked it out.
There's nothing under there. I'm like, what the fuck was
yeah.
grabbing my goddamn hand?
And you're sick, so like that's just over
Scares
your head.
the
You're
shit
like,
out
I
of
don't
you
even
now.
know what.
But like,
that was,
I was
right?
always like a kid was always trying to understand everything, so I tried to rationalize. There's no way it was a goddamn ghost.
Yeah.
You're braver than I was at 6.
Well,
I was
I
scared.
knew there was
over there with a flashlight hunting
Hey,
that
I
thing.
went out and, okay, it
Grab me.
was broad daylight. Other people were in the room, so I was real brave. So if something came out, at least we could jump this thing. But like, I was there's nothing under there.
But that happened to you at night.
Yeah,
Like
it
when you felt
happened
the
to me at
tension.
night. Like I just wanted, for whatever reason, I wanted to reach in. I don't even remember why.
Right.
I wanted to reach into there.
Damn.
But like it grabbed my wrist and it was pulling me so hard when it finally let go, I literally like recoiled back.
Damn.
I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, I don't like that shit, bro. I don't like that shit at all. Did you have any other things that you wanted to share on that topic?
I mean, I have encountered something similar. It was during COVID.
Oh God.
Okay, recently.
Yeah, 2020. I don't know. It was just a interesting time, but yeah, I was having a dream.
Okay.
And you can kind of say it was like a cinematic shot of like a POV of like a camera going into the alleyway, and then I heard something saying, "Let me show you the darkness."
Oh fuck.
And
hell no.
and so it's like,
Yeah.
and at the time I was like into like numbers and like angel numbers and like different stuff. And so I remember like, it felt like I was the camera, right? So it's like, I'm just panning in. Doesn't even feel like I'm walking or anything. It's just like panning into the alleyway.
Kind of just floating.
Yeah, just kind of floating. And then there's like a, a little box, like a homeless person home box. And so it's like, it's panning into there. And then all of a sudden like this kind of, you guys seen The Ring, right? You know how the girl's kind of blue.
No,
I
yeah,
hate that. I cannot watch that shit for the life of me anymore. And so it was like a blue kind of hand, and it grabbed me. The shock, the jolt, woke me up. I was living in Woodland Hills at the time. I think it's that place, maybe. But dude, that thing pulled me. I woke up because it was just so intense, and I just see that fucking bitch just run through the wall.
After you wake up.
Just crawled through the wall.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Now, if it was Megan Fox, would it have been cool?
I would have been chilling. I was like, come back. So
Crazy bitch.
yeah. So when that kind of thing happens to you, you really develop a mindset of like, I gotta do good for me. You know, I gotta have the highest energy because that shit is scary, bro.
That's an interesting thing.
That one scares
scary.
me that you saw something run across the room.
Oh yeah,
Because do you guys know the TV show Supernatural?
I've heard of it.
So it's Sam and Dean, the Winchester brothers. They chase ghosts and they hunt ghosts and like supernatural things like Wendigo, skinwalkers, all that.
Okay.
There's an episode where they think they're chasing a ghost, but it wasn't even a ghost that was living in the house killing these people. It was some crazy feral kid that like grew up like in the walls of the house. So like they're like pouring rock salt, they're like throwing crosses at it, nothing's working, and they find out that it's corporeal, that it's a living fucking person that's just crazy.
That's insane.
So like hearing a story like that, like what if it wasn't a ghost?
Dude.
What if it was just
Oh
some
my
crazy
God.
like feral like rabid person that was living in your house?
It was too vivid. It was way too vivid.
Yeah.
Because like where did he go through the wall? Like the wall was the same, but that's
Well, like
a
so,
crazy
like it's
story.
funny because in Supernatural is the
We're
same
gonna
thing.
go with that. We're gonna go with that.
Bro,
It's funny
that's
because in
the
Supernatural
reason
is the
why
same thing. Like where are they
so
going
close.
through the walls? Like so, like the person like the drywall was like they had like sections in the drywall that were like cut where they would fit through.
Sure, dude.
Yeah.
Do that shit long enough. God.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very supportive of you.
Keep you on your toes a little
Very
bit.
supportive of you.
Check
Yeah.
all walls before you
Yeah.
go to bed.
Yep.
No false fucking.
Oh, we ain't
nothing
living there
here.
anymore. We're not
No
in that
false
Woodland
doors.
Hills pad no more. Yeah.
God
Never
damn,
again. Yeah.
new fear unlocked right there,
Yep.
bro. People living.
I love the
inside
ending of that episode where it's like, I love the ending of that episode where they're just like, man, they're like, fuck these ghosts, man. Goddamn people.
Not in these
Dude.
apartment walls, dude. That drywall is so cheap, they're gonna fall right out. Can't even hold their asses.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
oh my God, Jesus. That's probably a good segue to get off this shit.
Yep.
That's crazy. Bro.
Um,
Yeah. Next topic.
fuck shit.
Yeah.
Fuck shit. Before we get into it, I feel like sometimes people have a different definition of fuck shit. But what I was gonna get into, we can get into the definition probably first so we're all on the same page. But, you know, how do we deal with fuck shit? You know what I mean? I mean, like fuck shit with like your friends, you know, does it change the dynamic of your relationship with someone does some fuck shit? You know, like how do we feel about fuck shit?
Fuck shit to me is like, okay, you do it once, everybody does some fuck shit every once in a while.
Okay.
But if it ends up becoming a repeated pattern, then that fuck shit turns into some, I gotta go deal with this shit.
And then what is considered fuck shit? Like, you sold your homie an eighth and it was only like, or can we talk about this on camera?
Yeah.
And it was only like 2 grams or something. I don't know.
I think
messed up.
I think so I think that like the act of messed up, right? Like I think I think we're all on the same page. So fuck shit between close personal friends can be like you know better than that.
Right.
Like why'd you do me dirty?
Yeah.
Or you know you fucked up.
Or it could be like where, because that's happened to me personally, where somebody gets mad at me, or something happens where like I get unfollowed by a certain person, and I'm like, what happened? Like, did I do something wrong? And most of the time, I try to keep it chill with everybody. Right?
Yeah.
I try not to do anyone dirty, or because I'm.
What you don't
You
hit
get
him
what
in the DM,
you
be
get.
like,
What
the
you
fuck?
get. Yeah, and so it's kind of like but I think communication is one of the biggest cornerstones of making sure that you don't deal with so much fuck shit. Or
So,
sometimes it might
okay,
seem
like
it from the perspective of an individual, it's like, man, you did me wrong, bro. And the other person had no idea what he even did, because the person that felt like he did wrong didn't communicate that. So there are those, obviously, lots of situations where people do fuck shit and it sucks, and you got to be a better human.
So you're saying fuck shit. So when fuck shit happens, it's transpired, communication is important.
Communication is like for example, if let's say we had an agreement of some sort, and you didn't come through on your end for whatever reason, and maybe in my eyes, like I was like, man, that's really messed up, because I really was looking forward to whatever it was that we were on,
Right.
And to you it was like, man, I was just busy and like doing stuff or whatever. But from my perspective, I would be like, hey, yo, D, what happened? Like, I was expecting this and that. And like, honestly, it made me kind of wonder, like, what was the deal with that? And then I could debunk that thing that I felt so
Okay.
like, disrespected about, or maybe like bad about, right? Rather than being like, man, fuck this guy, and then just kind of go on about my day. And then it becomes this thing where you're like, why is the J unfollow me? Yeah, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it just becomes this thing that could have been
pettiness
avoided,
and
right?
shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think from a psychology standpoint is like, because I like to be very psychological about how
feel that.
humans work and because you become a better person when you do these kinds of things, and you analyze and you ask questions, and you're constantly like, why are things the way that they are? You come to these conclusions, and one of the conclusions that I've come across is that communication, even if it's hard sometimes to be like, for example, with a friend, I won't mention who, because the show might blow up and we might make $1 million.
Man,
So-
who's gonna be my? I won't mention who. I haven't done one of those yet.
So recently, you know, we were working on a project together, and I wanted things to be a certain way.
Okay.
And because it's like my baby, and it's things that I want to do a certain way.
Someone did some fuck shit.
And no, vice versa. I felt like I was a little intense. I was a little too full. I was a little like, nah, we're gonna do it this way.
Right.
And like, let's do our own thing kind of
Okay.
thing. But I didn't mean it that way. It was like, I'm not ready. I communicated it a little bit intensely.
Right.
So I could have dialed it back and maybe took step by step to get to that place where I'm like, you know what, let me just do it this way. But now I was just kind of like abrupt about it. And so I felt like the energy was off because I felt like I disrespected the individual. When in reality, I'm like, I'm still down to mess with you. I'm still down to do what we're doing. I love it. I'm so supportive about it. I just want to make sure that this aspect of what we're doing is just controlled by the way that I'm doing
See,
it.
I think that's okay though. I think
so,
that part of it is okay. Like I look at fuck shit, like I ask a homie like, yo, don't do that. And he goes ahead and does it anyways, right? Or I ask him, maybe it's like I loan him some cash or something, and I'm like, yo, do that, but please don't spend my money. Like, you know, I'm gonna give it to you, but do it to help yourself. Don't do whatever to hurt yourself. Do some fuck shit anyways. You know what I mean? I think fuck shit is a shit that like could kind of devalue or be disrespectful to like whatever's going on.
Yep.
Like, you know, like Arllan comes to me, he's like, yo, like I'm about to do this new thing to my car, please don't whatever post. I go ahead and do some fuck shit, I post it, and I tag everything else, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's
some
kind
fuck
of where, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And tag homeboy, man.
Right, and blow up the whole spot, right? And ruin the fucking unveil and
I mean,
everything.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like, you know, like tying it with like car community shit. Like, I have like a really low tolerance for people who do fuck shit. Like, I mean, we all do shit. Like, you know, swing our car here and there on the streets.
Yeah.
Whenever do a burnout, but it's like empty ass spots.
Yep.
But like, going up, like, I've definitely been around some people who are like, they'll do some fuck shit, and they're like, they'll try to swing their car because they're trying to impress all the ABGs at the local boba shop or some shit like that. I'm just like, yo, dog, like you got to cut that shit out because you looking mad stupid right now.
Nobody cares about your engine, bro.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not even just like him like popping hood, showing off the engine, like him revving the shit out of the car,
Right.
Him like showing it off, him like swinging it or doing burnouts or whatever, and it's just like, dude, like
Blowing up the spot.
keep that shit out of here.
And
So
then
how
you
do we
invited
deal
the
with that
person,
though?
you know?
Yeah, and how, so like how do you
Makes
deal
you
with
look
that?
bad, yeah.
Like I know because like if I would deal with that, like my cutoff game is, my tolerance is pretty short. You know, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'd be like, with a lot of my boys especially, like I'd be like, bro, you know better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
I mean, to me that's fine because as long as you hold yourself to the same standards that you hold others,
100%.
then to me it's completely acceptable.
100%.
Or it's just like you won't catch me doing like fuck shit like with my car, like doing burnouts in front of a fucking like what's the boba shop all the kids are going to these days? Pico?
Fujiwara.
Fujiwara.
They are.
Yeah, Tofu
You won't
Cafe.
catch me doing well. One, because I respect Vincent and his spot.
right.
You know, I'm not going
That's
to do
cool
that.
that you
to
know
him.
these guys, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like I respect Vincent in his spot, so I
Yeah.
won't do that to him. But it's also like I know better. I'm not going to
Right.
be doing that, so I won't fucking tolerate that from anybody else.
Right.
You know, it's just like to me,
Hundo.
it's just like,
100%.
why would you? Why? Well, what are you gaining from this?
Yeah, and then what do you gain from keeping fuck shit around you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If they're going to
You're
violate
a product
like that,
of the environment that you put around you.
Yep.
It's like if I'm over here trying to do something with my life, you know, get my paper up, start businesses, this and that. I'm not going to go hang out with the guy who wakes up every day complaining about everything 5 times and never does anything about it.
Right.
While he's still like bitching like on the couch, like, oh man, like fucking I'm so broke. And why the fuck you sit on the couch then? Go out there and sell something.
For
God
sure.
damn.
or if Vincent's out to you, he'd be like, yo, Arllan, go get your man.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's doing exactly what you told him not to do.
You got to deal with it.
Now you got to go deal
Yeah,
with
you
it.
gotta deal
And
with
you
it.
look bad,
Yeah,
right?
I've had to deal with that in my life where I've brought people into like as like they would ask me, hey, I want a job like with this race team or whatever. We're like at this shop, and then they either underperformed, they kept doing fuck shit.
Yeah.
I got to deal with it because that's my rep on the line. Other people would say, oh, why do you have to deal with it? That's not, after you just got them the joint, like you're good. Like, nah.
No.
Because I was the referral.
Yep.
That's based on my word.
Yep.
It's like if you fucking up and you're affiliated with me, like
He's
it's
your
either gonna
representative.
be you're gonna correct your shit,
Right.
or we're not associated with each other.
Or they're
anymore.
like, damn, that was Arllan's judgment call.
Yeah.
Like, damn, right? Like
Yeah.
that's your best judgment. So you're not. That's why my tolerance for it is so short. Because to your point, bro, like you're gonna fuck up like 30, 40 years of fucking me doing this thing the right way, and you come in 30 seconds and fuck that bitch up.
Yep.
No way.
No way.
Right? You gotta cut it off.
Right away.
Yeah, dude, I got no tolerance for fuck shit. Like, I try to keep it all the way away from me. Life's too short. We work way too hard.
Yeah.
Especially with stuff like this. I mean, it's so hard to forge these relationships and stuff.
It's part of the reason why I don't invite too many people here. Because the last thing I want is them fucking up my spot.
Yep.
And then now I got issues with my landlord or local PD or anything like that.
Yo, and
It's
your
like-
neighbors are cool.
And my neighbors are stupid chill over here. Like
Yeah.
we've thrown parties in here and there was no issues.
Nice.
Oh, we still got Alvin's name
Yeah.
on there. Everything else came down.
Yeah.
This gives me like Tokyo Drift vibes, honestly. Like
Yeah,
you got the
we
shop and
we did it for shout out to Alvin for his birthday. So I want to throw a big ass party. I said okay, and then we had a live band, DJ, rave,
So sick.
It was
photo
sick.
booth.
that's sick.
We'll do one for maybe for a podcast special thing.
Oh, I'd love
Promise
it,
I won't
man.
do no fuck shit. Invite me, please.
I had to deal with some fuck shit that night, but it wasn't because of Alvin.
Okay.
Yeah, see, leave the fuck shit at home,
Yep.
man.
Yeah.
What a buzzkill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's also from a standpoint of being appreciative. So if someone
Yep.
is doing you the favor of
Perform
putting
at
their name on the
110.
line, yes,
Yep.
yes, give it all you got. And if you didn't, and you feel like maybe you did some fuck shit in the mix, but you didn't mean to, I think it goes back to communication. Be like, you know what, I fucked up, and let me know how I can fix it. But to a certain extent, right? Like if you obviously showed that you give no fucks and you did the fuck shit on deliberately, like then there's no
And I think
fixing
that's why I
that.
have a problem with it because
okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
you gave no fucks.
Yep.
And maybe
Yeah.
you did, right? But
Yeah.
I'm like,
when you saw
you
the
can't
paper,
be that
when you
stupid.
saw the paper,
Yeah.
yeah. When you show people paper or like opportunities, they're like, yeah, man, I'm a yes man for everything.
Yup.
And that's also a thing I watched out for is because I've had people where I've made relationships with really wealthy people, and I'm like, man, should I? This guy is like a really good friend of mine. Like, should I bring him along? And sometimes I've made I think like once or twice, I've made the judgment call of bringing them with me, and then I was like, man, I don't even know why I brought you with me.
But see, that's okay
yeah.
because I think what you just said is accountability. You switched it up, right? Saw the quick misstep, took accountability for it.
Diverted it.
Yep.
That's what's up.
That part's
Keeping it
big,
G.
dude. I don't understand why folks don't have that shit. Maybe it's a common sense thing. I don't fucking know, but I think that's just the other. That's where you get into fuck shit. Is there's no accountability. You fucking did something. I don't know, bro. I got no tolerance for that shit at all.
Nah. Good vibes only.
You know
Hard
what?
workers only right here. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Grinders, homie.
Hell
Do you
yeah.
even lift, bro? No.
I do. I've been on that shit, bro.
That's right. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I
I've
see
been
that.
on it.
So
I'm on the
cool,
way
man.
to summer, bro.
That's right.
I got all these dudes.
How many days you do at the gym?
Right now, bro, I be trying to. Excuse me.
I do like 5. I do like 5 a week.
I wish I could do 5. I'm like
I know your
3
schedule's busy.
with like 3 on with like 4 days of rest, but I try to do cardio in between then, like
Nice.
keep my cardio up just because I'm old.
Little walking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta keep that shit moving. But I'm also like, it's funny because like I hated fucking working out as a kid. I hated it. I got F's and D's in PE, bro. Like the easiest thing to get an A in.
All you gotta do is try.
I hated when I said that because I was like,
Your gym
no.
clothes and show up. Yeah.
No, man. Then they try to have PE like at first, like it's the first class, bro. I'm like, I just took a shower. I just ate. I am
woke
not
up.
running, you know?
Yeah.
But I honestly started working out. It's gonna sound stupid as hell. I started working out because I was a big WWE fan.
Okay.
Like I was like, bro, all my fucking
Triple
like,
H.
bro,
Inspiration
yeah.
is inspiration, bro.
Yeah, even like Dave Bautista before he
yeah.
became a big star, shit. That fool was jacked. I was like, yo, this guy's tight. I want to look like that. And
Smell what the rock is cooking.
I just wanted to like, The Rock before he got like when he was a bad guy, that fool was tight.
Yeah, he was super cool. With his
Yeah.
mean old mug.
But it was
Smiled.
like,
No, he's like the happiest guy ever.
Yeah.
So cool.
it was no, I mean WWE's got great storytelling, dude. I feel
Yep.
like that shit's just been gnarly. But it's that and like superheroes, bro. I was just watching Logan, and my girl was like,
Great movie.
Wolverine.
dude.
That's one of the most heartquote
Yep.
X-Men movies there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. My girl was like bawling, and it was like, you just it's because what I want to ask you guys is your favorite superheroes, but like I love Wolverine, and I'm just going to start first because that movie is literally the epitome of why I love him, bro. Like down to the end, like the movie opens with the craziest fight scene, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's in front of the Cadillac limousine.
Yep.
You know, right? He's healing himself. And these fools are fucking trying to jack his fucking limo. And I remember when he opens and he tries to protract his claws, and only like the third claw, like only a third of it or something comes out.
Yeah.
He's like old and injured at that point, and his body's failing him.
Yeah, and there's that, and then he's taking care of Professor X, bro. Professor X is losing his goddamn mind.
Yep. He's all senile and stuff at that point.
Right, and so I love that movie, bro, just because it's tenacity. Like I used to watch like the cartoons stuff, and I've read.
Oh,
like,
dude, like the animated like X-Men stuff
OG
growing up was
one?
the craziest.
bro, Wolverine, bro.
It was deep as hell too. Like rewatching it as like adults versus as kids.
Yeah.
Like some of the story
Message,
themes they had
yeah,
in there.
yeah, you get
It's traumatic, especially Wolverine's. It's a strange relationship with your father and stuff, right?
A lot of deep stuff in there.
You guys got a favorite superhero?
I've always loved
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
always a dope one.
Yeah.
Just like the kid from Brooklyn who's just like, or he's from Queens. Queens, actually.
Yeah, I
Correcting
think he's
myself.
Queens.
He's from
He's
Queens.
Yeah.
But he's just like trying to do the right thing. And
Young
he's
kid.
just trying to be the friendly neighborhood spider.
Yeah.
But he's always running into fuck shit. Whether it's from Doc Ock or anybody else. But like, it's like he's put in these situations and people forget that he's a kid in all of this.
And he's one of the strongest fucking Marvel fucking superhumans, right?
Yep. Like for me, if you're asking me my favorite superhero, it's kind of hard. Like I'd probably categorize it like in 3.
Okay.
So like
Hit me.
my favorite Marvel one, hands down, is the Punisher.
Punisher's
Frank Castle's
DC Marvel.
story is just insane.
Oh,
And like
bro.
the recent Netflix adaptation
movie?
with John Bernthal,
Great
Gangster.
one too.
it is good. And it adds so
So
much
good.
depth to the character to the
Yeah.
people who don't read the comics and understand his
No
whole backstory.
superpowers.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
superpowers.
just balls.
I mean, it's like the Punisher was so like relatable to so many people in the military community too.
Oh,
that
yeah.
like SEAL Team 3, they adopted the logo as like their de facto logo, the Punisher
Oh,
skull.
what? That's
So like if you look
sick.
at like a lot of the SEAL Team 3 pictures, they'll have the painted
That's
Punisher
sick.
skulls because it's like they kind of felt like Frank Castle connected to them. That in the comics, he was like a SEAL and a Marine a couple times. Like it always switches up.
Right.
But like that's like my favorite Marvel one, the Punisher.
Okay.
He's got no powers, relatable.
Great.
Like his superpower is his hands.
And no, he's tactical too.
Oh yeah, that's who.
Yeah.
He's super smart. He's one of the smartest,
Yeah.
like in the whole series. DC would probably be Batman.
I'm with you on that one.
Batman,
Yeah,
dude.
Batman is just like his whole story, and like when you get really deep into a lot of the Batman stuff, like how much he goes through and like how much like shit that he deals with, and like dude, he's dealing with aliens and shit. And
What's your favorite Batman movie?
favorite out of all the live
All
action
of them.
ones?
All of
Oh
them.
man.
Yeah, hands down.
You know what? A lot of people
Dark
give the
Knight.
recent one with Robert Patterson a lot of flack, but I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was good too.
Pretty good.
That was mad dark.
Yeah.
Mad cinematic.
Then I'm a huge Nirvana fan,
cool.
so the fact that they
Yeah,
put
yeah, yeah.
Nirvana in there
It was a
just
big
so
ass
good.
music video.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the song
But
is so
favorite
good.
Batman movie, hands down, would probably be Dark Knight Rises
Yep.
with Bale. Bale does it really well, and the way
think
that
you were
they
gonna say
had
that.
that Batman universe was good.
Yeah.
That one is a crazy one.
Even
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Yep, Batman Begins
So
was good
good.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's like Heath Ledger as the Joker and all this stuff. Like it
know.
was just raw.
Yeah.
I know.
And
that
then
one was crazy.
third, that's kind of like a like Image Comics is another huge one. Like they did Spawn and stuff like
Yep,
that.
yep.
But like my favorite one recently, I started watching Invincible.
Okay.
It's
Dude.
On Amazon Prime.
It's an
and
animated
like
series.
It's an animated series, but it's like
Okay.
it's a more of a darker like superhero things. Like it's super raw. There's a lot of death, a lot of gore, a lot of like moral compass issues in there.
Oh, word.
But like my favorite character in there is like invincible himself, because it's like he's basically so they're called Viltrumites, which are basically Kryptonians. Like, you know, they're super strong, like they're from a different planet, and like
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, because you got.
No, I gotta check this out now.
But like they're
I'm
super
intrigued.
strong. He's from a different planet, and like he's half Viltrumite, so his dad is a Viltrumite.
Okay.
And then you know, comes to Earth, hooks up with his mom, and then they have a kid, which is Mark Grayson, which is invincible. That's
Got
a
it.
superhero name, but his dad is also a superhero. So I'm gonna spoil the first season for you, and then you can
all
watch
good.
the rest. But basically, he finds out that his dad the whole time is not really a superhero. He just plays the part of a superhero, but the real reason why Viltrumites go to other planets is to conquer them. So his dad is like out here, like literally killing every goddamn superhero like on the planet, and he's just becoming a complete menace to get Earth ready to be conquered.
Oh shit.
And like they come to this crazy climax, or like in the end of season 1 where he fights his dad.
Oh.
And he's just like, no, there's no way you're like this. Like, you love me, you love mom. And like he tells his son, like, you know how long I lived? For like 5,000 years. We're immortal. He was like, I love your mom, but like a pet. And like
He calls her a pet, bro.
Yeah,
I was like,
straight
man.
up. And they just start throwing hands.
From you know, he raised him
Yeah.
since he was a baby. Like that's dad. You know, that's
Yep.
your dad. Like,
Right.
And telling
like-
him that shit while he's beating the shit
Yeah.
out of him, bro.
It's crazy because like there's a scene where Omni-Man, Nolan Grayson, so his dad, gets to the point where like he like basically beats his ass literally at the top of Mount Everest.
Oh, shit.
And he's like telling him like, what's another 17 years? I could always make another kid.
Right.
Because the dude's immortal. Like Viltrumites are immortal.
Right.
like,
So
I'm not
he
gonna have
tells his
nobody.
kid, like he gets infuriated with it. He tells him like, think like, what will you have after 500 years? And his kid tells him back, I'll still have you.
Dad.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like, I'll still have you, Dad. And
Yeah.
then, like, he's still asking for his dad after getting the living shit beat out of
Oh,
him.
he's about to die.
Yeah. And the dad just flies off because he starts to feel bad because he's never had that before.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, like,
We're
it
just
creates
hitting me
this
with some
moral-
bars right now. He's the hardest bars.
It just creates this moral compass for these characters.
Right, right.
And the dad flies off and you don't know what happens to him. He just leaves the planet. But, like, Mark Grayson in the series, like, a constant theme for him is that he knows he's literally one of the strongest beings in the universe.
Right.
Being half Viltrumite. And like he's stronger than basically everybody else on Earth. His biggest dilemma is not trying to become his dad. Like not trying to like kill everybody. Like he's actually trying to like do the right thing.
Right.
You know, like care about people, all this type of stuff. So he's constantly holding back in the series. But he's trying to find this like he's trying to find this like balance between when do I hold back and when do I just waste a motherfucker because he needs to go.
Right.
So it's like, but he runs into that all the time.
It's
It's
gory.
animated?
It's so
It's
good.
good.
Because
It's-
like the dialogue
Yeah.
and the conflict.
all
and
the
you're like,
voice
"Whoa, this
actors
is
too are like big
dope."
actors and stuff too.
And you, just when you
Okay.
think someone's safe, think again. But
yeah, it's
can I-
like Game of Thrones, but
So-
like
yeah, just animated and superhero.
he's not a superhero, but Jon Snow. Also one of my favorites.
I would say though, I'd take the Spider-Man one back because that's
Yeah.
originally what I grew up with, like Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I
Yep.
think he's always going to be the
Oh,
best
yeah.
Spider-Man, even though
OG.
Tom Holland
Toby
is,
to me
is
will
OG.
always be the Spider-Man. I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
He
says.
is
I
the
agree.
Spider-Man forever, and even Tom Holland's doing a great job.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah.
But I think Star-Lord is my favorite. Thinking about it now,
Whoa.
Star-Lord that's a
is my
good one. I
favorite.
like that. Peter Quill.
And reason being is because I think he's so emotional. He's very loving. Yet when it's time to kick ass, like he's ready for it. And at the same time, he's like this lover boy that is trying to find his like special lady.
Funny
Right.
guy.
And
this and that.
and he kind of flirts with these other women, but
Right.
he's always locked in on Gamora. Yeah, and like so I feel like I have a lot of similarities with Star-Lord.
Okay. I can
Kinda-
get
he's
down
kind
with
of
that.
badass,
Star-Lord's a
you know,
dope
but,
one.
Yeah,
I remember
Joe
growing up, I got it tattooed on me, but like for a while, like Superman was the one.
Okay.
Oh,
And it wasn't like for the same, bro. It's funny because like growing up, I fucking chased, like we all chase girls, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Like that's what you do. It's why you wanted a nice car. It's why you were probably on a sports team or doing whatever you was doing.
Dave Chappelle. Ooh, nice Porsche. Gotcha, bitch.
Facts. But like, so I knew Superman was like, you know, all that cool shit. But you know what I really liked about Superman is that at his core, right? At his core, the dude just wanted to be in love with fucking what's her
Lois.
name?
Lois
That's
Lane.
it, right? And he would do anything, bro. He would do anything
Literally
for that woman.
lifted planets for this woman.
Yeah, or if the world's on fire, he's gonna go save her first,
yeah,
right?
before anything else.
I just thought that it just was fucking cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just a simple idea. This dude's like, I'm the most powerful dude in the world. I don't give a fuck. Damn, I love my bitch though.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's my ride or die.
Yeah, you know. So I
Yep.
thought like Superman just was ill for that for the like longest time. And like after that, I'm gonna go to my farm and I'm gonna
Yep.
chill. Don't bother me. I thought that was.
I mean, there was a Smallville episode where it's like Lex Luthor's traveling to different like universes, and there's one where Superman, like, I don't know how he gave up his powers, but he did to live a normal life with Lois Lane on the farm.
Yep.
And like he gave up the immortality, all this stuff, so that he can, because he doesn't want to live
That was
without
nothing
her
to him if
afterwards.
it meant not living with her.
Yeah.
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 Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That's
It's
what
just
I'm saying.
hilarious because like even
power
though he
of
gave
love.
up his powers in that scene, like he still beats Lex's ass.
Yeah, I loved the fucking Smallville
Yep.
series. And I fucking hated Lana so much that anytime I see that woman who played Lana in any movie, I still hate her. 'Cause she
That
would get
Smallville was
whole-
dope. Yeah.
Clark is so much trouble, bro.
Yep.
Fucking bitch.
For real though. That's funny.
Shit, fellas.
Good
I mean,
stuff. Good stuff.
we'd like to wrap this thing up with like usually just kind of open up the floor if there's anything anybody wanted to talk about, maybe dip back.
Oh, I wanted to dip back into the superhero. So, and I
Yeah.
think that even though we all have a similar superhero, or sorry, a favorite superhero, there are a lot of similarities to ourselves in every superhero. So when Stan Lee
Yo.
created these superheroes, his thinking was like the Hulk. He's like this angry dude, and then Spider-Man's like this like nerdy guy, but and so I think that everybody has a little bit of every superhero in them. And there are some areas that shine more than others, but essentially I think he was trying to wake up the superhero in us.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
That's
give
what it is.
people
Keep
to
the
something to
legacy
relate
going.
to, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there a superhero that you related to? I mean, besides the favorites?
Yeah, I was like, as we were talking about, I was even thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy, same
love
thing.
that shit.
The Rocket,
Fucking sick.
Yeah, he's
Bradley Cooper.
yeah. So when I was younger, I was so temperamental and like anything bothered me, and but I was just misunderstood, and so I think that's Rocket.
lot of
He
his
was, and that was his thing. He's like he was always trying to be this like tough guy or like this person that was really angry all the time, but behind that was just this soul longing for friendship again because he lost all his friends when he was up in the lab.
Fucking
Yeah.
Marvel
Yo.
broke me the fuck down when they showed his backstory
fucking
of him
up,
being a
dude.
little fucking whatever,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I was
I was-
like, oh.
I was tearing. I was crying.
Yeah, bro, I was bawling like a bitch. That shit
That
was
shit was
so
sad.
bad.
That was sad.
Yeah, because I didn't really like him until I saw it. I was like, oh, damn, okay, shit,
You're
little
like, why is
guy.
this
Yeah.
angry all the time, man? I'm like, man.
Hey, just a snappy character, you know what I mean?
Like the one that really got me was like going back to Punisher where they did John Bernthal. Like him constantly switching back and forth of like his trauma to like now, and like that part to me was just crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
That
this,
was good, actually,
this scene like towards the end where like it's his best friend, like Billy Russo, Jigsaw.
Right.
Where it's like he's the one that did him dirty, and it's kind of just like he keeps having visions with like his late wife.
Right.
And she's like always having this vision about her, like, oh, like, come home, Frank, come home.
Right.
And then, like, he finally lets her go. It's like, I am home. And then he just goes ape shit.
Oh,
And just, like, starts fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like he kind of accepted that Frank Castle died with the rest of his family, and now he's just the Punisher.
Right.
Like, that to me
That was a
like,
very emotional.
that was a really emotional scene. Like, it wasn't very much so, like, like on the rocket bags, like super sad, but it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
Like this guy got pushed so far
Right.
that he became like this persona that like everybody else was putting on him.
Became the
Yeah,
Punisher.
he became the
Fuck,
Punisher.
I wasn't even thinking about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's not like, and it's crazy because like even like with Billy Russo, like they have their mutual friend in between. He's the corpsman, the guy who's like runs all the therapy sessions and stuff that he's still really good friends with. Like he doesn't know if he could kill Billy because like
Right.
they all fought together in the war and they were all best friends.
Right.
But when it came to the point like towards Billy's end, and he tries to talk to Frank, like Frank, I'm sorry, he doesn't even let him finish. He just fucking shoots him. Like, you didn't even let him finish his sentence. And it's like, that's not Frank Castle anymore, because that's the Punisher. Because Frank Castle would have hesitated killing Billy Russo.
This way.
Yeah. He would have hesitated killing Billy Russo because Billy Russo was his best friend.
Right.
So it's just like, it's
But
crazy.
that was Frank Castle's best friend.
Yeah.
The Punisher's best friend.
Pretty much.
That is pretty sick.
Yeah.
I'll share one, and we can kind of end the pod on a high note. A lot of folks don't ask me where Ktowndevil came from.
Oh, shit.
I would love to know.
Origin stories right here.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought I would have had a Nardwuar moment or something like that from years from now. You know what I mean? Pop out from nowhere and be like, guess why you're Ktowndevil? I'm like, oh, shit.
Daredevil?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
So part of it,
here.
I've always been interested, even in Japanese culture, devils are different, right? So even in Indian culture, devils are different. In Hispanic, you know what I mean? Like spirits, of that type, right, are fucking different.
Yeah.
And I loved the backstory as a kid on Daredevil, always. You know what I mean? Like why he calls himself the devil or associates with the devil is to drive fear in the hearts of his opponents, right? That a man would be so fucking brave to take on the devil's moniker, right? That man's got to be fucking crazy. Don't fuck with that fool, right? Like he's not a god, he's not a fucking god, right? It's like, so I loved something about that, and I always had unique things with all the spirit sides. And so I was sitting one night. I had the Supra. I hadn't really modded it yet, and
It's back when it was black.
It was black at the time too, and I was gonna keep it black. Nowhere was the journey in the direction I was going in, right? But I was sitting there, and I was like, I should create an Instagram page. I'm a marketing guy. I've always been a marketing guy, so I like to create brands. And I was living in K-Town. I've been living in K-Town for a minute. Always loved K-Town. I don't know what the hell happened, bro. It might have been the drinking I was doing or what, bro. But I just mashed the two together to make my personality, and I felt like take one of my favorite characters at the time, because at that time too, it was like kind of COVID, I think, and the Daredevil series was on fire, dude. It was like crazy.
The one-shot scene where he's beating all those fools up in the building, the camera work, the acting, the choreography.
I gotta go back to the Punisher. The scene with the Punisher in the prison in Daredevil.
That was sick. That shit was crazy too.
God damn. So I was just on a high note with that character at the time, and I was like, I wanted to build a brand in myself. And something I could speak to one day, probably like we're doing now, and that's where Ktowndevil came from. And it's just a moniker, it's something I want to lean into too. I'll probably get deeper with the branding later. I'm kind of starting to do that shit now, but it just came from something that I love, and just kind of mashed those two bitches together.
Love it. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, shit, Jay. Hey. I appreciate you coming on the show and joining us, my man. Always a pleasure too, my brother.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me.
Nick. And everybody at home, everybody that listens in. The show is growing. It's fucking fantastic, bro. I'm seeing the subs grow, which I don't give a fuck about. I see the views growing. I see the comments. I think the DMs that we all get are fucking amazing. I know I cherish and value all of them. It's dope because it helps us get connected with things like this.
Yes.
We get fantastic people like you on. We've had Tiffany, we've had Craig, man, Steve. This shit's been dope, bro. We've got some great guests, in the future. But man, I always have a certain fucking high at the end of these things. I just think it's fucking dope.
Oh yeah,
I think
it's always a good time, and always getting cool people on here like yourself, and Tiffany, Steve, and all that. We need Steve part 3 eventually, but
yeah, he's gonna have to. We got to figure out a way to make it more regular.
And to add to that, I think it's important to create this community because it just keeps you accountable. You see your homie doing some cool builds out here. You're like, man, I want to do some stuff like that. So even if you have those off days, you see the homie grinding, you're like, I got to get my grind.
Keeps me accountable. I say some shit on here, I got to follow through with that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? No fuck shit.
Yep.